All right, Alex, welcome back. Um, just talk to me about the whirlwind experience that you just went through in with the U.S.
Yeah, it was a good experience. Very grateful for the opportunity. Being a month away, a month and some, with players all around the country. I'm representing the country. It feels like it was an honor, and it was good to meet all those guys, especially the coaching staff and all the players. It really built a bond that I think I haven't been through in a while. So I feel like it's just something that I'm going to look back and be very grateful for. And it was just a place, another time for me to just showcase my ability, in the world stage, against Mexico, against Costa Rica, Guatemala, all those teams. So I feel like it was just another chance for me to prove myself.
Being able to come into to camp to start that first game and then start every game in the Gold Cup. I mean, what was that like for you just to be able to kind of earn that coach's trust like right off the bat and then throughout the entire tournament be able to be the starting right back for the U.S.
Yeah, I feel like obviously the first games were nerve wracking. Obviously nerves were coming in, but I feel like at the end of the day, it was just being confident. And I feel like me being confident is the only way I can gain the coach's trust. Knowing that he can trust me on the field, but also knowing that I can provide in different scenarios. So I feel like it was just continuing to talk with him, the coaches, and my teammates. The experienced players. They know a lot from these Gold Cups, these tournaments, these fans. So I feel like it was just getting the best insight from the ones who've been here and just be able to take that and be able to put that into my game.
What would you say the best insight that you picked up from that camp was?
I think Chris Richards, man. I feel like me and him talked a lot since we were playing alongside each other a lot. He was just telling me to be confident and just play my game. Over here they picked you for a reason, and the reason is to go out there and just do what you've been doing, in your club team. Just apply that into national team and be able to be 100% at that.
The next real big thing for the national team is the World Cup next year. Do you feel like you made enough of impression for consideration? What's your outlook on that?
I feel like this is just a time for me to keep working. I feel like it's the time for me to showcase the coaches that I'm ready for the opportunity, not only here in Orlando but in the national stage. So I feel like it's just me keep on working, keep playing well here in Orlando, and I feel like it's just getting those opportunities again that I'll be able to make the 100% of it.
You feel you got positive feedback from them?
Yeah, me and Pochettino, we've been talking, between games and stuff like that. I think the feedback is just, just be confident and be able to be calm, calm on the ball in possession, but also be able to, get forward and be aggressive defensively. I feel like on the positive aspects is just, he was telling me it was just, he thought I was confident. I feel like that's one thing that all the players there have is confidence. They got there because they had confidence in their club team. So I feel like it's just bringing that to the national level.
How do you kind of shift the focus to, I guess, club level? But obviously, we're still in the national team discussion. I mean, September, October, November, those FIFA games, the U.S. national team has some friendlies there that if you're in those rosters, it's putting you in contention for World Cup. I mean, how are you going to make sure you have, I guess, you're up on form to get those columns for those September, October, November games?
Yeah, like you said, you're at club at one point and you're for your country at one point. So I think it's just to be able to stay focused on where you're at that point of time, and be able to, give 100%. Like now, I think my time is to be able to give 100% for Orlando, since I'm back here and just want to get that supporter shield and fight for that. But if the opportunity comes again for national team, it's just to go over there and prove again that I deserve to be on that World Cup spot.
When you were named to the pre-Gold Cup roster, remember you said that you weren't expecting that at all. Then you got into the Gold Cup. Then you played that first game, and then you just played every game. Were you expecting to play every game? And when these games went by, how did it feel to really get an idea of what Pochettino is looking to implement with this national team?
Right. I feel like going into the camp, I feel like obviously, you have doubts about playing time. It's my first camp. It was just about proving myself. But as the games gone by, it was just me trying to prove myself, like I said before. But, I think it's also just to be able to implement what Pochettino's telling me, and try to put it into my game. He's been one of the, top coaches. So the feedback that I can get from him and put in my game, I'm going to take every time.
Alex, it seemed from watching the games that you were playing a pretty different role for the U.S. than you do here, where you essentially operate as a more of an attacking wingback for Orlando. Early on, it seemed like you were almost being asked to stay back, and then maybe a little bit more. But was it challenging for you to adapt to a new system and a new style of play kind of on the fly like that?
I feel like, yeah, I always see it's hard. I mean, to adapt to something that you're not used to, I feel like is always a challenge. But I feel like it just gave me more confidence on the ball. Be able to have the ball more in possession. And I was also, in the middle, like I'm here in Orlando, so that I was kind of used to already. So I think it just gave me another um, thing I can play. Another position that I can, provide for Orlando or national team in that aspect.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what can you bring from that experience to what you're being asked to do here?
I think it's just being more confident on the ball. I feel like here I can drive the ball, I can have it more in possession. I feel like it just gives me that, another step up, from when I left here. So I think it's just, yeah, confidence on the ball and just providing that, partnership that I can with Pasalic, and just being able to not only give him possession, but also now I can go forward with him as well.
You're very new to the national team setup, so I obviously you probably don't have the answer. But what do you think is the next step for the United States to kind of move on to the world stage as a soccer country that can compete at the highest level?
I feel like right now we're going in the right direction. I think right now it's just you know, those friendlies that come up. I feel like for the U.S. it's just to be able to make the most of it. I think we want players that are going to fight for our country. Players that are going to put a badge on the line, and I feel like that's what we're looking for now. It's just players that are not willing to be afraid. Willing to step up for one another. And I feel like at this camp it was showcased a lot that people were backing up each other. There were scuffles and people were, all backing up each other. And then I feel like the support system, especially at this camp, that just happened. It was very well.
When did you have a wow moment when you put the jersey on for the first time?
Yeah, I feel like it's something indescribable. I mean, I feel like putting that jersey on is something you dream as a kid. Not only that, being able to play in one as well, it's just something that, you're going to dream of. I have, a couple jerseys that I brought back home that I'm going to keep, frame maybe a couple. So I feel like it's just stuff like that you're going to remember, your whole life.
Did your family get to come see any of the games?
Yeah, my dad came to every one.
Wow.
It was like his own little tour. So, and then my mom, my brothers, and my stepdad also came to a couple. They came to the final, and then they came to one in St. Louis. So it was good to have that support system, there. Knowing that when I looked up, I could see them and find them in the stands. And after the game, I would visit them, get to see them at the hotel. So it was good to have that support system that trusts me,
Just how are you feeling? Like you left for camp having played a ton of games in May and then played a ton of games with the U.S. Just like you've played a lot more than you've ever had professionally. Just how are you feeling overall now?
I feel like I always see people would say it's tiring, with all the travel and all the games and stuff. But I feel like, it gives me more energy to push forward. I feel like, I can't be comfortable where I'm at. I feel like there's more I want to push for. And I feel like this is just giving me more and more confidence to be able to push for the stuff I want to achieve in life, And one of them is to win a cup with Orlando. So that's something I'm going to try to achieve again and again. Maybe Leagues Cup, maybe MLS Cup, but I always want to, come back and be able to win a trophy with Orlando.
It's crazy to think we're halfway through the year and a lot's happened, especially for your career. I mean, what do you see this next 6 months shaping out to be for Alex Freeman in Orlando City?
I feel like I'm very grateful for the past 6 months, obviously. But the next 6 months is just, like I said, it's just being in Orlando and just being able to help as much as I can. I feel like me and Oscar have had some talks, about me just being able to help the team as much as I can, with Pasalic, with Edu, crosses, with defending with Rodri. So I feel like, being here and being able to help the team reach the goal that we want to reach, if it's supporter shield, trophies, whatever it is, I'm here to give 100%, battle through whatever I have to go through and just be able to do it for not only the coaches and the players, but also the fans.
We haven't gotten to ask you about getting picked for the All-Star game in Austin. How exciting is that to be part of that team and selected for that honor?
Yeah, that's another milestone that I never thought I would reach, but it's always an honor. It's just another opportunity to, learn from the best. Obviously Messi's going to be there, but the likes of like Zinchenko from Chicago, or even defenders like Blackman, Miles Robinson, even midfielders, it's just people that, I watch a lot and I am very impressed with them, and just being able to go and play on a team with them is something I could also learn from, but also like just be able to make another bond that I can, maybe keep on for a lifetime.